Everybody, welcome back to Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live here every single day doing our live stream. And I appreciate you all for stopping through. Make sure you smash the shit out of that like button. What's up, Miss Pittsburgh, in the chat earlier? Like it, thank you. Again, guys, hit that like button for us as we get through the show here on a Friday. Just got done grilling some ribs, doing all that fun stuff. So, yeah, big day, big Friday. Again, uh, just looking at some Steelers news, I see that Brandon Aiyuk shit won't die. It's not gonna happen. Let's just be frank, guys. Let's just get over it. It's just not gonna happen. Let me turn my do not disturb on. I forgot about that. All right, we did that. But again, guys, we're here doing our daily live stream as always. Uh, you know, dead news period, but yet there's still so much to talk about concerning your Pittsburgh Steelers. And we will answer any comments, questions, and concerns as always inside of the chat. I'm just messing with the computer, sorry. But yeah, there's tons, and you're even seeing the Steelers insiders, these guys that are there all the time, intimate with this team. Many of them have squashed this and said, "Look, it's probably not going to happen, man. A deal with Ayuk is not going to happen." You've seen people flipping out today because he had a Pirates hat on. People wear different hats all the time, man. Especially these guys. They probably have a hat of every damn different team there is, man. They have money. They can do whatever, and they match them to their outfits and shit. Shoes, whatever. That doesn't mean he's gonna come there, and he's probably having fun playing around with people and exaggerating things. So definitely, it's something that's probably just not gonna happen, and he's even saying himself, like, look, he expects to be playing for the 49ers. What's up, Joshua Shields? What's up, George T? What's up, D? Yeah, guys. So it's just getting to the point, it's like nauseating. You know what I mean? And I appreciate rumors, and like I appreciate like talking about them and having fun, and speculating what could or couldn't happen, and I like to do all that, but man, it just becomes to be ridiculous at times. It's like, yeah, things could happen, but chances are no, it's not. Uh, yeah, and Brandon Ayuk did name teams that he would like to play for in 2024. Uh, and Steelers are one of them. But honestly, guys, it's just kind of crazy. He did go on the Pivot podcast. He did say that he is seeking an extension worth $30 million per season range, and that's where he kind of said that they're at an impasse with the 49ers. So, again, does this happen? Probably not. And here's my theory, that they're probably just going to ride it out and let him go into free agency. $14 million when you got a rookie like they drafted inside of the draft this year for the 49ers, who could be a potentially dangerous weapon. You have Debo Samuel. You still have Ayuk. Ayuk comes and plays. You could have a potentially a three-headed monster coupled with Christian McCaffrey, and your chances of winning a championship are tremendous, especially if Purdy can continue to play at the level that he has been playing at as, Mr. Irrelevant. So definitely they have something there that they don't want to, totally rip down and destroy. They are so close. They competed in that Super Bowl, a couple mistakes that maybe, they don't make in that game, and they potentially win that championship and become, champions of the 2023 season. But things went a little bit differently. But hey, they have a great chance, and I just don't see them wanting to part ways with somebody that they could potentially pay $14 million for this season and be done with it, and ride. Because here's my theory on that too. Why would he want to sit out knowing that he's going to go into free agency next year, knowing that he's auditioning for other teams, knowing that he could potentially make a monster amount of money, especially if he goes out there and plays well, looks like a good teammate, does the right things, that could increase his value value greatly, and he could look at 33 million, 32 million, especially if he puts up big numbers, and that's per season. That's big money, man. So that's just my thing. I just don't see it. Not I just can't see a world in which the 49ers are stupid enough to let him go for anything, especially what the Steelers would probably be willing to pay. You know, the Steelers ain't going to go out there and throw down a bunch of shit, a bunch of draft capital for a 1 year player. This is a sign and trade type potential deal. You know, they're not going to go out there and give first round pick. I can guarantee that. The Steelers build through the draft, guys. And we know that. And that's teams that have success long term build through the draft. They don't go out there and overpay players. You remember when Chuck Noll once said back in the day, he said, you know, we don't go out there and go and try to get older free agents to come in on this football team because they are usually players that other teams don't want. Why would I take a player that somebody doesn't want? And that's usually what it is, you know? A player that's going to inflate your salary cap numbers. I'd rather build from within. And if I'm going to pay a player, I want it to be a player that I've already, you know, seen play for several seasons. I know their injury history. I have intimate knowledge of their attitude, their behavior, their on and off the field behavior. I have knowledge of how they study and how they approach the game each week. I have knowledge of everything that they do because I've seen them for 4 years straight, you know, or 5 years, depending on the contract, depending on when you were drafted. I think those are the players that you want to pay. It's very rare, I think, that you go out and you pay monster money to somebody. And you saw this season with the Patrick Queen addition here in free agency. That was a very rare thing, and that was a record-setting deal inside of free agency for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, it doesn't happen often. So that's just what I'm trying to get at, man. Yeah, people like to play for Coach T. I'm not sure why. They like him. They get along with him. That's cool. You know, I don't know him personally, so hey, it is what it is. But I'm just saying people like to play for him. So of course you're gonna get a lot of players that are, you know, potential free agents or potential trade targets when they're asked, which team would you like to play for? Sure, the Steelers are probably going to be on that list. Why? They have 6 Lombardi trophies in the trophy case, man. They have a coach that players like to play for. It's cool to be a Steeler kind of deal. It's one of the league's cornerstone franchises. Who wouldn't want to put that on their list? So you're going to get that said a lot. That's how these rumors and things go. But yeah, we know the Steelers potentially could use a target in the wide receiver room. But again, guys, you know my thoughts. You know what I think about that. I don't think that it is a potential desperate move that they need to make. I think you can figure it out and get shit done with whom you have. You have a tight end room that has potential to be super good, in my opinion. They have a lot of athleticism, a lot of guys in that room that I think that could do some damage. And I think inside of an Arthur Smith offense that they could play a monster role. I think the run game is going to be something big. And if you want to talk about maybe keeping players or bringing players back, there's Najee Harris sitting there. Look at the run game. You know how I feel about that, but if you want to spend a little bit of that money you have left, offer him 6 or 7 million or whatever, and keep him for a couple more seasons. So it is what it is. I just think that you should try to keep that talent that you have, and when you're a team again that builds through the draft, you don't want to go out there and overpay for players. I just think it gets ridiculous sometimes. All right, Robert Road. Let's get to the chat a little bit here, guys, here on Steel City Live. Make sure you're hitting that like button for us here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, as always, here on the show. Let's get to the chat. Robert Rhodes, there wasn't free agency in all but a couple years when Noel was the coach. They had limited free agency for only a few years in Noel's time. Yeah, but they could get players in the offseason. They could bring in players that weren't under contract from somebody else. You know, that's the thing that I was saying. So, yeah, it necessarily wasn't per se free agency. Yeah, it wasn't that per se. But, yes, you still could, you know, off-season, somebody doesn't want this guy. You're not going to go out there and grab, you know, somebody's aging veteran because they're not going to bring him in back under contract. You're not going to want that, you know. And Chuck did say that, though. He may not have said free agency, but he said, why would I go out and bring in other veteran players from other teams that aren't wanted by other teams? And I see that logic, because if you're a team that wants to build through the draft, which I think you should, I think history has proven that those are the long term successful teams. I think that that's what you should do. Ooh. Nathaniel Sampson, what's up? Robert Road, they didn't trade for other teams' players or pick up other teams' rejects. No, no, not at all. And I think that was a good philosophy, Robert. I really do. I think that that was the tried and true way of staying competitive, because you have your guys. You're building through the draft. You're getting your type of people, man. Jonathan Stevens, we are in here daily. Absolutely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Everyone, remember to smash that like button. Thank you. Yeah, Jonathan, it ain't gonna happen, man. It's just not. Steel 43 says, I'm tired of the trade rumors now. Yeah, me too, man. Definitely. I can tell you, Jonathan, that I could almost say with certainty the Ayuk deal does not happen. And I can say that pretty confidently. We were talking about that here a little bit at the beginning, about that and why. I just don't see that happening, man, because of the 49ers. And I think that that's something that comes into play with it, too. Again, you could have a potential three-headed monster with the rookie Parasol that they just drafted, that has a potential great upside there. Couple that with two veterans that were proven commodities in Debo and Ayuk, and you have a potential to have a really dangerous and lethal wide receiver room with a great running game with Christian McCaffrey and one of the league's best defenses. I think that giving up players that even Ayuk, you're only going to pay $14 million this season for him. I just don't think that it's something they have to do. And I think that they realize what kind of potential that is having him in that room, man. You miss Pittsburgh. Let's go hit the shit out of that like button and subscribe. Share. The best toe in town is here. Thank you again. I love it. Thank you. Yes, TD with some emojis with the waving that Steelers flag. We're going to be redoing some of them. We got to think of some new ideas for the season too. We need some cool different ones. We're going to have to add some cool players and stuff like that. So we have some of them. Let me get a drink. But while I'm getting a drink, go ahead and hit the shit out of that like button. What's up? Sleeper Sports Media, my Ayuk short is doing well. Spotted wearing a Pirates hat on IG Live. He wants to come home. Yeah, dude, don't get hype over that, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been watching this team for a long time, and I'm sure many of you have. But don't breathe in, don't bleed in our. Don't take in that Kool-Aid, man. Ayuk's playing games too on IG, and I seen that. And I thought about making a short about it, and I'm like, I don't want to, because I just don't think it's going to happen. I really, really don't. And I may be wrong, but I could say with 95% certainty that I don't see it happening. It's a sign and trade, guys, and it's $30 million plus, something that the Steelers are willing to do. And you got to think of what this all entails, too. They are going to have to give up high value draft capital. And again, the Steelers are a team that builds through the draft, man. And that is an issue when you're a team that builds through the draft, to just go out there and bring a sign and trade guy in for $30+ million a year. I just don't see it happening. And you're taking a risk of, is he going to sign a contract for less than that? You know, if you're potentially saying maybe he'll sign for $26 million because he wants to hang out with Coach T, he wants to be coached by him. Yeah, but you have to work all that out beforehand, man, and the chances of that happening are slim to none. And are the Steelers going to go out there and give the 49ers potentially what they would like, knowing that the Steelers think that they may have a deficiency there, which I don't even know if they really think they do. Honestly, maybe that's more the fan base and the media fabricating that, because honestly, I don't think they have a huge gaping hole there. You don't go out and, grab a Roman Wilson without thinking that he may possibly be able to contribute. I don't think you bring Van Jefferson in without thinking, hey, man, this guy's had 10 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards in his only stint in the league, his brief, short NFL career when he was healthy and when he was playing with an NFL quarterback in Matthew Stafford. And you saw his numbers and you saw his ability. So I think they're looking there, you know. You have a guy in Quez Watkins that, you know, if he learned how to be aggressive, he could potentially do some things. Be aggressive, go after the football, and learn to hold on to the damn thing. You know, he could do okay. You have Calvin Austin III, who works his ass off every day. They see him inside of that building. Maybe they're more comfortable with him than everybody else here, you know, out in Steeler Nation. You know, there's potential there. And George Pickens does have the potential to be a superstar in this league. You're not going to pay two of them. The Steelers definitely ain't paying two wide receivers big bucks like that. I know the salary cap increases every single year, and money is what it is. I get that, but still, that's a big ask, putting 60 million into a wide receiver room with a couple guys, you know? And I don't even know if the 49ers are going to do that. But hey, they could just ride with it again this year and potentially have a Super Bowl caliber team yet again, which they will probably, depending on their quarterback play, if he comes back down to earth or if he gets better and better, you know? They could have that and just tell him, you know, go find a sweeter deal somewhere else. And then go let one of those teams like the Cardinals or Panthers or one of them other dumbass teams out there that make stupid moves. Let them pay him $35 million a year and he can go and never win a Super Bowl, never be competing for conference championships, never going to sniff a championship, and go make your money and be done with it. And then in the latter part of your career, you're trying to play for the vet minimum somewhere just to grab a ring somewhere. You know, you're ring chasing then. But it is what it is. But we'll move on from that a little bit. How about that $275 million deal signed by Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Then after he announced that him and his wife are about to expect a child, that's pretty cool for him. But that's big money for Trevor Lawrence, whom I think is a phenomenal quarterback. But damn, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of bread, man, for your quarterbacks. But that just shows you potentially what the Pittsburgh Steelers face going down the road too, guys. They are going to have to bring in somebody or sign somebody, and the quarterback money nowadays is a big, big, big thing, man. And you're going to look at $50 million a year. That's what you're going to be looking at. What's up, Russ? I'm doing well, man. I hope you're doing good. I'm good without paying it to Russ or Justin Fields starting. That's a no-brainer. T.S. Jakey, that will be Russell Wilson. It's the only obvious answer here. The veteran, the guy that can get it done, the guy that doesn't have as many flaws as Justin Fields. Justin Fields is, honestly, let's be frank. Let's be really real. And I know a lot of people in Steelers Nation are excited for the potential of a Justin Fields. His athleticism gives you real tremendous hope. But let's be frank. Justin Fields, football-wise, is an absolute freaking train wreck. We got to be honest about that. We can't sit here and I can't go just because he's on the Steelers, just because the Steelers made that move and brought him in here into the Steel City. I can't sit here and sugarcoat that for you guys, and you know it as well as I do. Turn on his tape. I'm not fabricating it or making it up. He's a complete disaster. He's unable to process the defense, unable to throw wide receivers open, happy feet. He is a complete and utter train wreck, period. And now, can that be fixed? I hope so. I think so. I think he could make some progress with that under some veteran leadership like Russell Wilson, learning how to play, learning how to be comfortable, learning how to stand in the pocket potentially, learning how to dissect and read and get through his progressions and really learn how to be comfortable with an NFL offense. I think that he needs to really take the value of what Russell Wilson is and who Russell Wilson is, a Super Bowl winning caliber type quarterback, and soak that all in, because that's exactly what Justin Fields needs. It's what the doctor ordered for him. But we got to be frank, guys. He is a freaking disaster right now on the field. He is athletic. He can run around. He can do those things. Cool. Awesome. But He ain't that guy that's going to stand in there and stand in the pocket and deliver the quality throws that are needed to carry a football team from the quarterback position. He's not going to be able to do that. Jonathan Stevens, we got to keep Najee and Warren together and pay Pickens and Hayward and Muth. I agree. It's just not happening. Yeah, there's a lot of things, guys, and like Jonathan brought up there, a potential deal with Muth. You worry about his health and how he could possibly be factored into this offense moving forward because he doesn't stay healthy very often. That's a real issue with him. But when he is there, the lack of production because the lack of maybe the utilization of the tight end room at times has been a real problem for him. So yes, you've seen flashes and you've seen the potential, and you know that he could possibly get it done. But do you go out there and do you extend him? Jaylen Warren, I think, is an absolute must to extend. I think it's a fair market value you will pay for him, and I think that it would be something that would be a quality move for the Steelers, an economical quality move for a solid player, an undrafted free agent that came to the Pittsburgh Steelers and really made a name for himself right now in that two-headed monster of a backfield with Najee and Jalen. And I think that it does work well. And I think if the Steelers were smart, they probably would keep that together because honestly, it does work. It flows. It simpatico, I guess. Robert Road, Aiyuk says he wants to play for the Steelers. He could sign here next year when he is a free agent then, but they will not pay him 30 plus million a season. Yeah, I don't see that happening either. I don't see the Steelers reaching out to do that. And I think next offseason could be completely different, guys, especially with that wide receiver room. What if George Pickens doesn't produce to the level that the Steelers would hope? They'll probably let him ride out that last year of his deal, and they ain't going to worry about paying him, you know? That's just my opinion. Maybe that happens, and maybe they do bring in a guy like Aiyuk and make him their guy. But yes, I think again too when you say he does want to play for the Steelers, he does list other teams too. You know, to where I always think the Steelers will be put into that conversation because I think if that's a broad question to ask a player because when you're put on the spot, I think you're going to start listing off some of those cornerstone franchises. You're going to list some of the elite franchises in the NFL in terms of history, rich history, Super Bowls, things of that nature. You're going to look at the Steelers. You're going to look at the Chiefs. You're going to look at those types of teams. You're going to say teams that you really, really think are solid, like the Ravens. You're going to list those types of teams, man, and throw some other bullshit in there, here and there, too. Sorry, guys. I was out there in the yard chopping trees, trimming bushes, man, and I feel like my allergies are flaring up. I feel all stuffy. Russ says, give it up on Aiyuk, not happening. I agree, man. Donald Brown, call Mafia Marcus, the offensive coordinator, coming in. Hey, it's America's offensive coordinator, Donald Brown. The most elite offensive coordinator in the entire country. Robert Road, you pay the quarterback and O-line on offense and the front seven on defense first. You dominate on the line of scrimmage and you win most of your games. Yeah, controlling the line of scrimmage, being dominant in the trenches, it gets you real far and it makes you a solid ball club. And yes, you can overcome a lot of deficiencies when you can control things in the trenches, when you can apply some pressure to the quarterback, limit the run game of opposing teams when you're speaking of defense. And offensively, when you can control the line of scrimmage and run the ball a little bit, it'll bail you out of some bad situations sometimes. And also allow you to control the pace of a game, especially if you're playing a team that is far more superior in athleticism, far better players. You can take that and utilize that ability to control the trenches and utilize your run game to slow those other teams down in order to maybe beat teams that people don't expect you to beat or win and be in those ball games and actually have a chance come late in the fourth quarter. That's how you do those types of things. Robert Rowe, the O line can be really good and cheap for a few years, and the Steelers can take care of other areas now. Absolutely. And you look at this offensive line and you look at it, you got what, 4 or 5 guys in the top 55 picks of the NFL draft. You got guys that were highly touted out of college. I think Troy Fautanu was a steal at 20. I thought he would go within the top 15. I think Zach Frazier is the best center in that draft. I'm surprised he didn't go a little bit earlier to a center needy team, but luckily for the Steelers, they were able to get him. I think he will fit in the way of the Steelers. So-called Steelers culture, Steeler way. I think he'll fit inside of that building in a real positive way. And he's a local guy, regionally, WVU product from Fairmont, West Virginia. So I think geographically he's comfortable here. So that could play into that also. So you look at some other players. Isaac Seumalo, I think, is a quality Pro Bowl type guy. You look at Broderick Jones, a guy in which the Steelers moved up to go get. What a big move there. And I think he is the potential superstar of this offensive line, the potential cornerstone foundational piece of this line. And definitely, I think, is going to be a solid ball player, especially heading into year 2. I think he's going to take a tremendous leap. The only thing that I think could hold him back potentially is the coaching staff and making the wrong decision by putting Broderick over at right again just to allow Dan Moore Jr. to have another opportunity at the left tackle spot. I think that spells trouble for the Steelers. And if I'm the Steelers and if I'm head coach Mike Tomlin, the offensive coordinator, I am putting my guys in place early with the offensive line. I'm getting my guys in the position that I envision them to be into the future, where they're going to be into the future. And I'm going to get them in there and put it down and live and die by it because honestly, those guys need as many reps together as humanly possible. And I think that that is the smartest thing that they could do. Get those guys in place, allow them to gel and grow, and allow them to take their lumps and have their growing pains together as a group. And I think that is what the Pittsburgh Steelers need and have to do in order to be successful. That's just my opinion along that offensive line. I think they have a tremendous opportunity right now with that young talent. And like Robert said, you could potentially have a cheap and effective offensive line for several years. And that's a blessing because you can spend money elsewhere. You can pay an inflated salary in some other spots if need be, just to secure a skill position player or something. You will have that luxury. But the Steelers move into 2025 with $100 and some million in available cap space, one of the tops in the league, top 3, I believe. So you look at that and you say to yourself, man, let's get this young offensive line secure. And we're going to have massive amounts of money next year to really make some big, big moves, man. All right, let's get back to the chat. We love JF1, rooting for him. Muth, wide receiver 2, kinda. Yeah, I don't know if I potentially like people saying like wide receiver 2. He is the tight end. He can go out and play the big slot role. He can be effective, but I don't know about wide receiver 2. I mean, tight ends, I guess, are wide receivers in today's game. If you look at Darnell Washington, he's a little bit more of a throwback, as opposed to maybe a modern day tight end because he's really big, really an extension of that offensive line. But yet he does have some pass catching abilities, which I hope the Steelers utilize this year. Then you slide down a little bit to Connor Hayward, a guy who's kind of in flux a little bit with his position grouping, H-back / fullback, tight end, which I think he'll be listed on the roster this year as a fullback. So that'll free up another tight end spot potentially for the Steelers to have an extra tight end on the roster. But there's so many things that you can do with that room, and you could really become versatile. And like I said earlier, last week and a week before, Connor Hayward has the potential to create some real disaster mismatches for opposing defenses, in my opinion, and has been really, truly underutilized. And I think that he's shown some flashes, but I think his ability to match up on the linebacker, be versatile as a Dallas Clark type player, I think he could definitely do some big things and be a real quarterback friendly type player, man. All right, guys, we're almost 30 minutes into the show. I want you guys to hit the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live, our daily live stream only on Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason, your host. We are here grinding every single day. Make sure you get yourself a Mic Drop Mafia membership, 99 cents a month. You could get entered into giveaways and things of that nature, so make sure you do that. And also, you'll get members only podcasts. So make sure you subscribe, become a member, all that good shit. But make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to support your creators here on Facebook. Let me get a drink, or Facebook, YouTube. We do have Facebook and we do have a Twitter, guys, and we have an Instagram. And I believe we have a TikTok, but I don't really use them. But definitely post a lot of stuff on I like show times and stuff, so you can subscribe to those or follow whatever, like those pages, and you could get some things there. I will start to utilize those as things slow down here, and I have a little bit more time to do so. I thought my dog was pushing the door open here. Word on the street, TJ is on. Come on, dude. I can't even entertain you saying those dumb things. Pretty sure yeah, no doubt, dude. Daniel Warman. I'm a Bengals fan. However, after following you, you guess it's hard not to love the Steelers. I hated playing you guys because didn't want Cincy to lose. Love your show. Thank you. Well, thank you, Daniel. We appreciate you for stopping through. And definitely, guys, if you're a fan of another team, you're allowed to be here. And we appreciate you coming here and talking football. Like I always say, it's such a good perspective to have other fans of other teams in here. It definitely is, and eventually I'd like it to be really a broad show. You know, that definitely is it. I'm a Steelers fan at heart. I'm gonna always talk and emphasize the Steelers. But yes, the Cincinnati Steelers matchups, they have been classic, 4-4 over the last like 4 or 5 seasons for the Steelers. 4 seasons since 2020, and that is actually the team that's played the Steelers the best within the division. Cincinnati, 4-4. The Steelers have winning records and better records against all other opponents inside of the division. They own the Baltimore Ravens with a 7-1 record. But yeah, Cincinnati has given the Steelers some fits, and those have been some really quality ball games as of the last few years, and they are exciting to see. So they have definitely been awesome. Yeah, he is a polite Bengals fan. Yeah, definitely. Jonah Wang, you come on. We got to get rid of you. Goodbye. Danny George, what's up? Get yourselves those emojis, guys. Loyalty badges, all that good stuff. I like the towel emojis. Here we go. Absolutely, Miss Pittsburgh. Here we go. Guys, July is not far away, man. The season is rapidly approaching, and we have been talking Steelers hardcore, man. And again, I still think this roster is going to have some moves, man. Shut up. People say the dumbest things. You look like you're going fishing. Come on, dude. Like, why even say some of those things? Like, why even waste your time in your life, like, to type that in? Like, you've lost a brain cell doing it, and you wasted seconds of your life. Life's short, dude. No sense in putting stupid comments in. It's just dumb, dude. I'm just saying. We don't talk politics here, man. So don't do that. We'll have to remove you. Goodbye. All right, Sam H. Russ had a good year in him. I have no doubt. I think Russell will definitely be pretty cool. We don't do that kind of shit either. Remove. Man, we got some crazies. Rich makes smoke. I just want us to beat the teams that we are supposed to blow out, but instead we lose. Shake my head. I have to agree with you 1,000%, Rich. That is definitely an issue. And I know that it seems like that is the case. And it definitely does, because when you lose to those types of teams that you really think the Pittsburgh Steelers should be, it's demoralizing, and it's just crushing, man. Especially when your team is doing really, really good. Like the Steelers last year, when they went on that losing streak, losing to teams like Arizona, Patriots, the Colts, those teams, and they fell back behind the eight ball a little bit when they had a potentially good record and was setting themselves up for a tremendous second half, and instead had to dig themselves out of a hole. But if you look at the record of the Pittsburgh Steelers against teams with losing records, under Mike Tomlin. That is actually far from the truth. But I know I feel the same way, Rich, 1,000%, because those losses are just like, really just boom, right in your face, because they are just so disheartening to see, man. And I agree. They need to always beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And I know it's the NFL any given Sunday, and everybody's good, and we have to realize that. But if you're a ball club that's on a roll, you're doing good things, man, and you're going in and you're facing a team that hasn't had much success throughout the season, you can't allow yourself to have any missteps, man, and you can't afford to lose those ball games. And this season, more importantly than ever for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially in the front half of that schedule, they can't afford to come out and stumble and have a slow start. They're going to have to really be on top of their game in those first 9 weeks, and really not allow themselves to get behind in terms of the division race, the AFC race. And they are really going to have to put an exclamation point on their work, man, in that front half of the season. DJ Thomas, Steelers going to end this wide receiver number 2 drama, or just going to roll with what we got? I say roll with what we got, DJ Thomas. If they do make a move that works, awesome. But I know it's not going to be an Aiyuk thing or anything like that. They will not go out there and do that kind of thing. I just think that the 49ers asking price, probably in terms of draft capital, is far too high. And that's why I think a deal hasn't been done already. I think if the Steelers could get him just for the money, they would make the money work, I would say. That's just my opinion. I just feel like they don't want to give up a high value draft pick that could potentially be a star. You never know. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, again, build through the draft. And that's how they take their approach to building a roster. It's through the draft. Yeah, we don't do politics here, man. Absolutely not. It's just too touchy right now, man. This country is in great flux of, there's lots of differing opinions, and I go with the common sense approach. That's just all I do. But I don't want to talk it here. I want to get away from that stuff. I want to come and talk football and things. Oh, 23 Jordan, you look like my dad. Oh, well, thanks. He's a good-looking guy probably then. Crazy Bray, let's go Bills. Miss Pittsburgh, it never fails every Friday evening. We get some weirdos all the time. Rich says, dude, I cried a few games, to be honest. Hey, it can get like that, Rich. You're invested in this, guys. People don't realize how invested you are, as a fan, especially if you're a fan right now talking football in June, early July, and you're talking about this team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, or any team that you root for, and you're really in depth and you're following every tiny move they make. How much time and how vested you are, it is important, and it is demoralizing, like I'd said, when things don't go right and you see blatant mistakes that you just ask yourself, like, what the hell? How did they do that? How do you not see what is going on here if you're Mike Tomlin or the franchise, and you just want to scream? I don't know, George T. It might be, buddy. Chris Johnson, bang, bang. Niner gang. Yeah. Steelers, hey. 6 of them, boys. 6 of them Tiffany trophies that bear the name of Vince Lombardi on them. Anybody can beat anybody any given day. That's from DJ Thomas. Yeah, that's the crazy part, man. That is it. And that's why I think the NFL is so Awesome. You can have a 0-9 football team come in and crush somebody, man, and just plow them. And you look at it and you say, "Where in the hell did that? Where did that come from? How did that happen?" But everybody is good, guys, in the NFL. All these players are in the top 1% of football athletes or athletes, in this country, in the world, potentially at this sport. And they're all good, man. They are all super good. Sam H. Russ has a lot to prove. Hopefully, he beats up on the Browns. That'd be great. Anything can happen in the NFL from his Pittsburgh. Sam H. is a Bears fan. We really do love Justin. He just struggles doing basic QB stuff. It's so sad to watch. Yeah, we got to face the facts, Sam. He is the definition of football hell from a quarterback's position. And it's the turnovers. It's the inability to get through his progressions. It's the inability to process the defense. He is a poor processor of the game. And that skill might be, sadly, and I want to bring this up for Steelers fans and Bears fans. You lived it a little bit there. You've lived it a lot with some of the picks your franchises made at the quarterback spot. Yeah, and we've gotten a couple of them as of late, which is a sad thing. Mitchell Trubisky was complete trash and had no business being in the Steelers or the Bears. But anyway, yeah, Justin Fields is just horrible sometimes. And we got to realize that you might not be able to teach a guy how to be a processor of the game. And I don't know. And I think it just doesn't come down to intellect because I think he's a smart dude. I'm not saying that. I think it comes down to being comfortable, your nerves, being able to handle the pass rush, being able to process and just be really relaxed. And I think that will definitely help you be a processor. But some guys just can't get over that. All right, guys, let me get a drink. I've been talking my ass off here for over 40 minutes. So make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button for us here on the show. I'd appreciate it. We'll get back to some more chat questions. Wish Juju was still on the team. Oh man, nah, he got a knee problem. Just ain't Juju. Yeah, Juju just didn't pan out. He was okay when he's here. Sleeping lady, do you think Cordell Patterson gets some action on offense, or is he strictly a special teams guy? I think you'll see little Cordell Patterson sprinkled in everywhere. I really do. I think he's a jack of all trades, master of none, but yet can be a contributor. So I think Arthur Smith is comfortable with him. I think the Steelers really like his return game. So definitely, I think you'll see a lot of Patterson, and I think he'll play a little bit of offense, man. Russ says, roll with what we got. A receiver, payout guys, Cam, Najee, Jay Warren, and Pat. Yeah, you can. Build through the draft. Pay your guys, dude. Robert Rhodes says Steelers start out 6-2 and go 6-3 in the backstretch, 12-5. Hey, I'm digging it. I could see it happen. Russ says need to start 7-1. I think they need to have a good start. I don't know if they can, if they need to be that. I'd like to see it 7-1. Those pretty damn good, but yeah, that'd be cool. I definitely don't think that they can. This is my theory on that front half. I don't think that they can lose more than 2 or 3 games in that first 9 weeks. I think if they do, and if you see them rolling into the back half of the season, a 4-loss team, I think you're in trouble, man. If the Steelers go 12-5, someone in the division fell on their face. Nah, I think the Steelers are definitely on paper. If you know football and you understand football and you look at this roster, a team that went 5-1 within the division last year. That was the best record within the division. It's kind of hard to say like that they can't compete in the division in the back half of the season. It's kind of foolish to say because they had the best record in the division at 5-1. They own the Baltimore Ravens since 2020, 7-1. They're 500 against the Bengals at 4-4. They've beaten up on the Browns every year. The Browns, yeah, can squeak out a win here and there. It is what it is, but for the most part, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and statistically, actually, they have the best record since 2020 within the AFC North in terms of divisional play. The Bills didn't really spank the Steelers. That was the thing. I won't read your name. I don't want to talk politics or anything like that. But yeah, I don't think the Bills beat the Steelers up like that. They didn't spank them. And they had like no defense. Everybody was injured, playing on one leg. Robert Rhodes said Cleveland and Cincy battle for third place. That'd be nice. Let them battle at the bottom, and we'll stay up at the top. Sorry, guys. I was getting my computer back on track there. Forrest Hill, can't believe Pickett was gone after a couple seasons. Teams are impatient. Matt Canada sucks. Kenny Pickett sucks, Forrest. I hate to say that. And you seem probably like you're, maybe a Kenny supporter or something, which is okay. But I'm just saying, Kenny Pickett has no intestinal fortitude. The minute a challenge was presented to him, he ran like with his tail between his legs and requested a trade. And the Steelers don't want to hold you hostage. If you want out, they'll get you out, man. And honestly, I think Peyton Wilson will be a far better player than Kenny Pickett ever will be inside of the NFL. And I think that was a fair exchange, if you ask me. Kenny Pickett did nothing that would get you excited as a quarterback. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That doesn't get me pumped up. His record was pretty good because why? He had a defense that kept him in ball games. And yeah, he had a couple fourth quarter highlights, but that was about it. But statistically, he sucked. He couldn't push the ball down the field. Check down, check down, check down, happy feet, unable to read, unable to do the things necessary in order to be successful. And the minute you say you want out because there's a challenge presented to you, I think that it's a no-brainer for the Steelers to say sayonara, because guess what, man? I don't want those types of people on my football team. I want people that run to challenges, that accept it, want the fight. Woo! I've been doing some heavy talking today. All right, let's keep going. Rich makes smoke. I just love the way Dallas loses at the end of the season or postseason. Yeah, cowgirls. Remove. Some people are dumb. I don't even know what. I wonder if there's people, which actually I know there are, that literally sit on YouTube and just scroll through like live shows and shit, because you can get them if you do them in this vertical presentation. And you can just scroll through and they have nothing better to do with their life but make stupid comments. And it's like, you have that much time? I'd love to know how you have that much time. Daniel Warman, having Mike Tomlin as a head coach, you were all blessed. Miss Pittsburgh waving that terrible towel. Armand, what's up? Fields, total zero. Mason should be here, and con artist blew it. I definitely think Mason deserved a shot, no doubt about it. Russ, we have always had bullseye on our back. We make team seasons when they beat us. Absolutely. And that is still a fact. And I know the Steelers haven't had a playoff win since 2016. But again, guys, they are a cornerstone franchise of this league. And people come to play when you play the Steelers. Because why? It's usually some of these teams' Super Bowls, man. And you get their best shot. Why? Because the Steelers are an historically great franchise. 6 Super Bowl trophies. They basically own half the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I'm just saying, facts are facts. So people want to beat the shit out of you, man. They want to give you their best shot. Absolutely. Let's go, people. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Listen to Miss Pittsburgh. She knows what she's talking about. Russ says it sounds like Justin knows he's got a lot to learn from Russ and wants to. Hopefully that's what he takes from it, man. Definitely. Rich makes smoke. Last time we started 10-0, we got smacked. Yeah, they are actually 11-0 and then finished with a 12-4 record, I believe, and lost in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, that was a devastating season, man. Such a crazy ride those first 11 weeks, and how awesome and excited I was for Ben Roethlisberger to potentially be ending his career toward the end of his career. Potentially, with a great team and real potential to maybe do some things in the playoffs and maybe reach that mountaintop one more time in his illustrious career. But, that didn't happen. That was definitely a big letdown. Sleeping Lady. I'm wondering if teams are even going to kick off to returners versus just kicking it out of the end zone and letting them start at the 30-yard line. I was looking forward to seeing kickoff returns making a comeback. Um, I think you will see a hell of a lot of returns, and I think it will make it an exciting play again. I think teams just succeed, just kicking it out and giving teams the ball at the 30 isn't the best approach because yeah, they were giving it to them at the 25, but I think at the 30, you're giving them great starting field position there at the 30 every time, and I think you're going to want to try to pin them back closer to the goal line, no doubt about it. And I think that definitely is going to create a good play in the NFL. I'm probably most excited for this rule change. I typically don't like rule changes of significance like this, but I think this could be potentially one that actually works. Yes, it was, Rich. Church of Creation. In Denver, Russ had an entourage follow him everywhere. That's not really the Pittsburgh way. I don't know what he does in his personal life, how he does that, but um, he seems to be saying all the right things and doing all the right things right now. So that's all I can kind of evaluate him on. I felt like his play was better than most give him credit for. He had a rough year that first year, but last year he threw a lot of touchdown passes, so I'm cool with it. I will see how it goes, man. It could go either way, but you're right, that ain't the Pittsburgh way. Sam H, good stream, brother. You know ball. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you. Good to have you. Ryan Stanley, what's up? Hey, hey, hey. Kenny support. It's not okay. That makes me question your common sense and logic. Not okay at all. Just joking. Red Brown, he couldn't learn from Westbrook. Um, who, buddy? Learn from Westbrook. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Absolutely. I love when Miss Pittsburgh. She always communicates in the emojis, and I love it. It's awesome. Ryan Stanley. Are today's athletes put on a pedestal, making them void of some of those intangible qualities like intestinal fortitude? I think sometimes. I think you probably hit it on the head. They are put on a pedestal, and I think that they feel like some of their opinions matter more than they really truly do. Like when you get these players out there giving us their social stance on situations and their political views and shit like that. Quit being like that, dude. We don't give a shit. One, we just want to see you play ball. And maybe they are put on a pedestal when you have the potential to be making 50 some $1 million a year. You know, they probably are. So, yeah, I think they do lack some guts and intestinal fortitude, no doubt about it. Brian Love, Steeler Nation, absolutely. DJ Thomas, what if we went and got Hollywood Brown as number 2, talking crazy? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Hollywood Brown. I think he'll do well with the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is a monster and the best quarterback in the NFL today. And has the potential to chase the GOAT, to be honest with you, Tom Brady, and become the best quarterback ever. But Hollywood Brown's never been an exciting player for me. I don't know. I just haven't been. I didn't think he was like a destructive force with the Ravens, and I didn't think he was a destructive force with the Cardinals. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he does really well with Patty Mahomes. Sam H says Fields is not a total zero. That's not fair. I didn't say he was a total zero. You got to listen to the whole thing. Whenever I said he has tremendous upside athletically, but he is a complete and utter failure at the quarterback position, and that isn't something that I made up. Running the football isn't success at the quarterback position, contrary to a lot of people's belief. Running the football and being a running quarterback and run first quarterback is a tremendous downside, to be honest with you. Running the football as a quarterback should be something that you bring out here and there that gets you out of spots, that is a potential weapon. Not when people know you're going to run the ball because you can't get through progressions, you can't throw people open, you have happy feet. Soon as your first read's not there, you're dropping it and going. And then when you run the ball and you fumble at an alarming rate like he does, that's an issue too. But he is horribly bad right now, and it's okay. And can he fix it? I think so. It's hard though. It's hard to teach somebody to be a processor of the game. It definitely is. But is there a chance? Yeah, nothing's impossible. But Justin Fields right now, we have to be truthful with ourselves. He is not good at the quarterback position. Bears and Packers have more Hall of Famers than the Steelers. I don't know about that. They may. I don't know. But the Steelers have a damn lot of them. Absolutely, Rusty Dib. We're going to spank the Chiefs on for Christmas. Absolutely. Russ, you'll be at that game, right? How should we score return yards in fantasy? I don't know. I think fantasy football's stupid. That's just me. I mean, it's cool that people play. I just can't get into it. And I don't know. That's why I feel like some people think some things about the roster. It's more fantasy driven than anything. All right, guys, make sure you are cracking that like button here as we cruise through the show here on Steel City Live. I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. All comments welcome, except for dumbass ones that people are trying to talk politics or doing things that just don't make no sense. We talk football. We have fun. We use this to get away from the world a little bit. Ryan Stanley, first off, I think Miss Pittsburgh is your wife, low key. B, I agree. And those clowns think they are more important than they truly are. Actually, my wife is right over there, and it's not her, dude. Actually, not. Rich makes smokes. How are you feeling about our schedule? I think it's tough. But again, I don't think it's a disaster like some people think because the Steelers went, again, 5-1 within that division last year. And that can't be overlooked. We can't just look at certain statistics to spin the narrative the way we want it. We have to look at them all. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, again, 5-1 within the division last year. And I think a lot of people overlook that, but it's truth. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate it. Daniel Warman, one more thing. In the Marvin Lewis era, when Cincinnati played the Steelers at home, if it wasn't for the Steelers fans showing up, our game would have been blacked out. That's crazy, man. I had some family from Ohio, and they were, well, I still do, but I think they were more Bengals fans, Cincinnati fans. That's crazy. I don't like the blackout shit and things of that nature. It's weird. I don't know if it happens as much anymore, but definitely, they used to black shit out easily, man. That's crazy. All right, guys, we're about to wrap up the show here. So if there's any last minute things you need to vent, let me know. You can throw it in the comments. We're going to jump off here in a couple minutes. But again, thank you all for coming through. It's been a real honor and pleasure to talk football with all of you. Rich makes smoke. Sad but true. That was definitely going to be a blackout. Hey, they get blackout drunk. Russ says, yes, I will be there. Want to bundle up my new grandson. If not too cold, take him to his first game. Will only be 10 days old. So has to be, yeah, it'd have to be really nice. You don't want him out there in that cold. But again, congratulations on that, Russ. I'm super stoked for you, bro. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Get up off here. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Make sure you join us. It's going to be an exciting season here on Mike Drop Sports. We're going to be doing it up, man, every day. We'll have our daily uploads. Right now, we haven't been doing our morning upload as much. We do it at like 3-4 times a week, but still, we'll miss a day on the morning, but we are always live every night. So, again, make sure you're joining us during the season. There will be a members-only podcast for Mike Drop Mafia members. That will happen every Wednesday during the season. It'll be a members-only show. And I'm thinking about doing that live. That way I can just talk to Mike Drop Mafia members like on one. And I'm thinking of a new way to do that to where maybe we can actually like see each other and stuff. So that'd be cool. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I don't know yet, Rich. We'll see. Everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. You too. George T, hit the like button on the way out. Absolutely. Thank you, Joshua. You too, man. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. Again, guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Exciting things will be happening here all season long on Mike Drop Sports. We're cruising toward that 5,000 subscriber goal, so we want to make sure we get there. We hit over 3,400 yesterday, so let's continue to get those numbers up. I feel like we're growing pretty fast and still steadily grow, even in one of the driest news periods of the entire NFL league year is the month of June, to the middle of July. It's the driest time. It's the deadest time for news because players are out vacationing and doing their thing at this point. But training camp is rapidly approaching, so things will definitely heat up again. And again, it's always fun to talk football no matter what time of the year it is. So until Monday, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace. Thanks.